Woohoo! Hello, folks.
So
I'm going to get
so bright.
It's right. That is Jeff. No, other way. That is Jeff.
It's Greg.
I still don't know
twice in a row I've been able to do that.
I know. I was on a streak. I was on a streak there for a bit, and I think I'm right-handed. That's the problem. And we are the 40-40 men. And
he is.
Yes, we discuss all things Jays and all things as well. Like all other things.
Yeah, we try and get some baseball other stuffs in there. We try and get some life stuffs in there, but it's Blue Jays.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It's Jays.
And so let's see. For this week, what do we have set up for this week? We're going to talk about the week in review as we usually do. We are going to talk about a couple of the players, specifically Bo Bichette and George Springer. Different questions for both of them because. There's a bit of an issue with both of them in the last couple of weeks. And then next section, do we have what it takes to make the playoffs? Like we're doing all right now, but do we? And then our usual last segment, when we have time, and we talk about Pissy Jays fans.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, one thing I do want to talk about is, since it's the last time they've done it, is what do you think of Apple TV broadcasting the baseball games? And it's been... interesting. We'll talk about it, but there's been good and there's been bad. We'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah,
it's been a very interesting broadcast. It's very different. We'll say that it's very, very different than a normal broadcast.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of them?
I specifically haven't watched it at home on Apple TV or anything like that because I don't actually have Apple TV. I just ventured into Disney Plus just the other day. That took me a while. And first thing I've watched on Disney Plus, Futurama and Family Guy. Apple TV. They had those Facebook games and those YouTube games as well, which was just I don't know.
Yeah, with Apple TV, you just need to sign up. You don't have to pay for anything. Like there's no anything. I had an Apple account from like when they first started doing iPods way back in the day. I had an iPod, and I haven't used an Apple thing in like a decade. And then when I went to go check it out, I was like, "Oh, you got an account?" I'm like, "Oh." Done. It's a free game.
Did you use your iPod to download or create a nuclear weapon? That was one of the the agreements.
I thought about it.
Yeah,
I thought about it.
It's one of those things you always do.
Yeah.
I
chose not to go nuclear.
you just made just a regular old bomb.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pipe bombs are fine. Shrapnel, that's all you need is some shrapnel and it works out fine. Yep.
Yeah.
And a whirling dervish like Taz.
Well, okay, so let's do a little recap of the week. I mean, it started off horrifically because we just got our tails handed to us by the Orioles again.
First off, remember you keep forgetting we brought Sundays. We got to talk about the Sunday game.
Yeah. Okay, well,
the
still,
Guardians.
Dawson
was pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
And the bats were shitty.
Yeah.
So the Guardian, the whole Guardian series, I think people started wondering what the heck was going on. Yeah. But I also think that people don't realize how good the Guardians are actually. Like, people were picking them to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they didn't start very well, but they sure as hell are coming on. I mean, their starting pitching has been pretty good. Mm-hmm. They got the good old Canadian boy, Josh Naylor, hitting the crap out of the ball. And talk about a guy with personality. Like, they say baseball needs personality. Watch Josh Naylor play a game I just love the way he just reacts. He's just like this he's a big boy too. Yeah. Big boy full of positive energy and just plowing. Yeah, he's good. So I'm even disappointed we lost, and I'm disappointed with how much we lost by.
Yeah.
And it just seemed at that point on the Sunday, the bats seemed kind of listless. They just kind of weren't really there.
And it had come off of well, carrying on with the Orioles the week prior. We
Yep.
pretty much made sure that they remained in the playoff contention because we gave them a shot, and we helped Cleveland solidify their little spot in first place in the Central. And then we had the next 2 days against the Orioles, and lo and behold,
Yeah,
lost.
Yeah,
Kikuchi,
but it was Kikuchi's last gasp, I call it.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't he wasn't terrible, but it was again all the damage done in the first 2 innings too. Right?
Well, what the other part was, and it's something happened to the Jays last week, and a bit at the beginning of this week, was the defense was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
We just weren't playing really crisp defense, and there was out of the 6 runs he gave up, 3 of them were earned. Although one of those, okay. Here's the thing I want to ask you. We talk about errors and earned and unearned runs. If a pitcher makes the error, he doesn't get charged with the run, right?
Really?
It's still an unearned run
because it's still a fielding error. Yeah, like it's still
right.
a fielding error.
I keep thinking if a pitcher makes the fielding error to cause the run to come in, he should get charged with the earned run.
Yeah, because that is directly his fault. Yeah, that's crazy.
Exactly, but I mean they don't. I get why they don't. I mean, but it's one of those things I've been always like, yeah, if he made the mistake, but so yeah, that was his last gasp as a starter, and that's fine. And then with Tuesday we lost again,
and Manoah was kind of mediocre, 7 strikeouts.
This would have been. I would say it was his worst. That he's and it's not.
Well, he's actually his last 2 starts have actually been pretty crappy. And both have been against Baltimore, So,
well, do you think it's because do you think maybe it's because he's past his inning limits that he's ever pitched?
I don't know, but I could also think that maybe Baltimore has a line on him because it's both against Baltimore that his last two
that's the
bad starts against.
I think, I mean, when you play guys 19 times a year, like I gotta say, thank God this is the last year we're doing that, because I think if you're looking at wild card positioning and you're playing the East 19 times as opposed to somebody that like Cleveland or Minnesota who gets to play like Kansas City, and all, it's not fair in terms of there's no balance in the schedules.
Here's the thing too, though, right? Like, there's a lot of people, and they're sort of like fair weather fans, like, oh, we need to move out of this division. No, I like having to beat up on Boston, beat up on the Yankees, beat up on Baltimore and Tampa, because whoever's going to come out of this division is going to be good. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah,
and
I have no problem.
Yeah,
but now I think they're going down to it's either 10 or 12 games within a division, and it's spread out more throughout the others, which makes I'm a little better with that.
That's still plenty. And
you know what else? I would also get rid of interleague play now, because I don't think you really need it. I mean, you have to.
Well, you have to because there's 15.
I know we do, because there is that one. Yeah. So when they do the extension, when they get 2 more teams like Montreal and Vegas, probably or Portland. Although again, it depends on whether Oakland moves or Tampa Bay moves. I mean, these are things we talk about every freaking year.
Yeah.
Because it just never happens. I still think that the split season with Tampa Bay would have been interesting.
I remember them bandying that about, and it was just because I mean the Expos in their last years in their last 2 seasons, or at least the last season, the Expos were playing some games in, was it Dominican? Do you remember that?
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, yeah. I knew it was somewhere in the Caribbean. But yeah, they played like a few games down there, and they have some games, and why not? Yeah, why not Puerto Rico? Why not? Well,
it was at Hiram Bithorn Stadium.
Yeah,
I don't know why I remember that, but it's weird. I can't remember half the people I know, but I can remember random baseball. So I don't know how my brain works. It's weird. I can remember anything baseball, no problem. If I try to remember what I put on my grocery list yesterday, I have no idea.
Well, that's the thing. And here's a little deviation on this. But you remember back in the day when you used to be able to remember 90 phone numbers?
Yeah,
all your friends' phone numbers. Like, I
yeah, that
remember
doesn't
that.
happen anymore.
And then now, if I lose my phone, I don't remember my parents' phone number. I remember mine. The best thing I can do is call Pizza. Like, that's the
I
that's the
remember,
only number
I
that's
remember my
automatic in there.
grandparents' phone number from when they lived out in Etobicoke
I
like
remember
20 years
I remember
ago.
all my
Like,
old phone numbers. Yeah, but
yep.
that's it.
It's weird that well, people change numbers. The only person I like people have changed numbers over the years because new cell phones, they get new companies, all that kind of stuff. My buddy Adam has had the same phone number since like high school, like on his cell phone. He had one of the very first cell phones you could possibly get
Yeah.
because his dad like owned like businesses and stuff. But yeah, he still has the exact same phone numbers he had back then, which I've had like 7 at least. Like
I've
leaving the country, come back, get a new phone. Oh my god, I screwed up that company, so I'll have to get another company. And yeah, it's weird.
two
Yeah,
two phone numbers, one BC, one here. So, all right. So back to
so yeah,
we deviated.
then,
Sorry, folks, we deviated.
right.
But then this is a good
So
one to
then
come back
we
on. Ross
Wednesday.
Stripling. Ross Stripling.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
6 innings of perfect ball,
yeah.
and then but
One hit. One
I
hit.
mean,
Yeah.
do you think they? Well, no, because he pitched 6 innings of perfect ball, and then he gave
Yeah.
up
Oh,
one
yeah,
hit.
yeah. But he gave up one hit like in
Yeah.
in the seventh. Yeah.
So do you? And they pulled him after I think it was like 84, 85 pitches. Do you
Yeah.
think they should have pulled him?
I don't know. I like. I mean, you can't argue with the result. Like, he pitched them into the seventh. They, and
Yeah.
randomly, like all the runs came in for the Jays came in the bottom half of that inning as well. Because like
Yeah.
it was still 0-0. Like, it wasn't like the game was out of reach or whatever. Like, the game was
Yeah.
still close. Like, it
Well,
was a tie game. Yeah.
I feel like they're still treating Stripling like he's a swingman to a
Yeah.
point. And I
Yeah.
think that's done. Like, I mean, with Mitch White, like they said, Mitch White is our new Stripling.
Is a new Stripling.
That's what
Yeah.
he is. Stripling,
Is
for
the
the
new
rest of the season,
Kikuchi. Yeah.
he's in the rotation.
Yeah.
And maybe next year we should sign him to be in the rotation. Maybe he
Yeah.
should not be a swingman anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe he should be a number 4. Like, he'd be a great number 4 starter.
Mhm.
And he likes it here. I mean, I know he's a free agent at the end of the year, so I mean, he's one guy I would be all over trying to keep. He's
Yeah.
going to be in demand.
Yeah.
And because we have no upper level pitching, and because we can't really afford to sign another major contract in the starting rotation, like we've already got 2. Manoah's going to be one in a few years.
Mhm.
Kikuchi's the most expensive bullpen arm you can possibly find. Maybe he might be like he's not going to cost as much as a frontline starter, but he'll pitch you like a number 3
Yeah.
for like number 4 money. So I don't know. I love Stripling. I think he's
Yeah,
he's saving our season. That guy.
I had him as a rookie draft pick when he was on the Dodgers in my baseball
Mhm.
pool. So I've followed him, pretty much his whole career. So when we signed him, I thought that was great. I like that. It's a good move. But yeah, 6-1. As I said, you can't argue with that result. So at least we thwarted the Orioles sort of drive, and then on to 4 against the Yankees, and Barrios was awesome. 9-2. 9 strikeouts as well. Springer went 5 for 5.
Yeah, that was interesting. And we'll talk about Springer later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he's in, boy can hit it.
Yeah.
Then Friday, Gosman came in.
Yep.
He
Same.
was 7 innings shutout.
Yeah, same thing. Like, it was 4 hits, 1 base on balls, 7 strikeouts. Like, he was the man. Yeah.
It was Gosman.
Yeah. And then
Mitch White. Yesterday,
Mitch White.
I watched
Yeah.
the game. He's there's a different. Like, he and Kikuchi both have the issue of getting people on base, but Mitch White was able to pitch and
get rid of them. Yeah.
He was in trouble. He was in trouble every inning, but he bore down and he got out of it, which was great. Like, he gave up 7 hits, and there were guys on base all the time. He only went 4, but it's a bullpen. Like, the 5th starter is generally a bullpen day anyway. He was able to give 4 good innings, and the bullpen came through. One thing I found interesting is I think since the middle of July, Toronto has like the 3rd best bullpen ERA in baseball.
That's crazy. Because
people are complaining about our bullpen constantly.
And if you remember, our bullpen was supposed to be our rotation. Sorry, was supposed to be like the best in the biz, and our bullpen was the weak spot. You know,
Yeah.
so
But I mean, I think people were underestimating how good Bass and Pop were going to be. I just don't think people really
yeah,
thought about it. They just figured, oh, I don't know who these people. They knew who Anthony Bass was. I was actually surprised we didn't sign Bass after the last time he was here. I was
yeah,
surprised they let him leave because he was good, and now he's even
he's even
better.
better.
And
Yeah.
Zach Pop, good old Brampton
Canadian
boy,
boy.
doing all right. He did give up a home run yesterday, but
Yeah,
other than
that's fine.
no problem. Like and it was a cheap ass home run too. Like it was Gleyber Torres opposite field. Um, I'll tell you one thing: Aaron Judge on the Yankees should be in right field all the time because he's as tall as the wall,
Yeah,
right? So there's always they run. Oh, there you go, yeah, home run gone. Their shit's home run is
yeah.
gone. Or the new kid that's playing with them, Cabrera, I believe his last name is. I don't know if you did you watch any part of the game
I
yesterday?
went to a wedding yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to actually
Okay,
watch
so this
watch the game.
kid, he's been up for 4 days.
Yeah.
He's hitting all right. He's already played third base, shortstop, and right field in the first 3 games. Those are the positions he played. And then the game yesterday, he was playing third, and he made a Jeter-esque dive over the tarp and smashed his face off the wall in front of like these
Yeah,
3 Blue Jay fans.
I
The
saw
Blue Jay
that.
fans at the end of the game, are you okay? Like they were like, holy crap! Like the replay they showed the reverse one, his face was just
But
plowed into the wall.
that's the kind of thing that that New York fans will now like. He's now going to be a hero, right? You know, like
Oh yeah,
he's the new man.
he is.
You know, so yeah,
He's also the one that took away the home run from George Springer in the game before that when he
yeah,
played right field. So he took away a home run and then he made this amazing catch on that. Like defensively, the kid can play anywhere apparently.
yeah.
So, but his bat's going to carry him, and even the manager's like, yeah, Aaron Boone's like he's going to be a player.
Yeah.
He has that confidence in him. So
I figure this is a pretty good time to take a little commercial break. I'll do a little Canadian way.
okay.
Hello, folks. The fast fashion industry makes up about 10% of all CO2 emissions and pollutes and dries up water resources. 85% of all textiles end up in a dump each year. Do you want to change those stats and look good while doing it? Well, then shop the Canadian Way. Clothing created by the Canadian Way is made from repurposed, recycled, or biodegradable materials, manufactured in CO2 neutral sites and by workers who are paid an actual wage, all within this great country of ours. This one, Canada. So if you're tired of contributing to the endless supply of garbage produced by humanity, then shop the Canadian Way starting fall 2022. Visit thecanadianway.ca. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just kind of like that little tune. It's
it
just a
makes my head
freebie.
move every time.
It's a freebie
I'm
from you know what was it called? Soundtrack Pro. It was an old app by Apple before they started combining everything into like iMovie and stuff. But it was actually pretty good. So
well, I'm still working on my buddy G Vine. G Vine, if you're watching, like I keep telling you, you're a busy man with all your musicality stuff you're doing with like Hulu shows and stuff. Like he's doing soundtracks for all kinds of crazy stuff, but I'm still trying to get him to do ours. And
cool,
I still have a Canadian icon that is going to do an interview with us. I've been in contact with him again this week,
cool.
and he just celebrated his 50th birthday this week, and
I
he's
thought he
been
was
over
older.
things.
I didn't realize. I thought he was older.
No, he and I used to work together in 1994,
Wow.
back at the Fan 590. Well, it was still CJCL 1430 back then. They were just about to switch to 590, the Fan, for the better radio part of the dial. And this man has gone on to do wondrously amazing things.
Yeah.
He's hosted shows in the States and Canada. He's kind of, I don't know, what would you call it? Like, he does everything.
Yeah.
That's the thing about this guy. He does everything. So you probably, if you're Canadian, you might know who he is, considering he's around our age. So, but we have been having discussions, and hopefully sometime towards the end of the season we'll be getting him on because he's just a busy dude.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny that you mentioned Canadian icon and how last week we were talking about because it was that day that Joey Votto was going into to start his 1989th game, which breaks the Canadian record held by Larry Walker. So he plays that game and then has season-ending injury like the next the next day. So
I know.
so
God,
at least he's got the record now. Like.
Well, he's been saying like they were talking to. Did you watch if you watched the Field of Dreams thing? They didn't. I watched the audio.
They mic'd him. It was cool actually.
Yeah, and he was basically just saying like he goes, I'm gonna keep playing. Like he'll probably get 2,100 games in easily.
Yeah.
He needs a couple more counting stats to get on to really like solidify his Hall of Fame because there's still a lot of debate whether he should be a Hall of Famer or not.
He's won an MVP, so that's always good. Like that's always good, right?
If people took on base percentage as a very serious statistic, then he'd be in automatically because he's led the league in on base percentage like 7 times.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry, but on base percentage means something.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, remember like last season he hit a home run in 7 straight games. Like he came close to the record. Because he's not really a home run hitting guy. He just decided as he got old, he's like, I'm going to try hitting more home runs.
Yeah.
And then he did. As opposed to just being a hard, like, spray hitter. He's like, I hit a run. 7 games in a row, he hit bloody home runs.
Yeah.
Like, he's just that guy. So, I mean, good on you. I'm glad he's doing as well as he is. He may go down. It'll be a debate between him and Larry Walker as the best baseball
Canadian,
player.
Yeah. And I mean, he's still probably got like at least 3 more years in him, at least for sure, I think. And
he was talking to Griffey Sr. He says, is there anything you regret? Griffey Sr. apparently said, yeah, I wish I played till I was 42.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'm going to play till I'm 42. And Griffey Sr. said, you should keep playing because you still got it.
Yeah.
That's what Griffey Sr. told him. He's like, yeah, keep going because you're not done yet. And he's only, 38? So he could do a couple more years for sure. It's just a matter of injuries. And hopefully with his shoulder going down. But, man, he was great on the mic. I love watching these guys on the mic. And I'll tell you one thing. The mic thing also is put Alek Manoah in that stratosphere too.
Yeah, on the All-Star game, that was actually cool. Yeah,
and then they did it. I guess they did it for Apple as well. The Apple people were talking like, "Oh my God, he's great! Oh my, he's an amazing kid."
Yeah.
And he is. He's a great one to go on. But
I was gonna say, it's funny that we brought it back to the Apple TV thing again. But yeah, like that's something that I think would help. What's the best way to do it? Like if they're going to start putting a lot of games on, on Apple TV and YouTube and all that stuff, like that should be their thing that they should capitalize on. Like having a mic'd player at least for any game.
Well, they had the last one they had Espinal.
No, I know, but that should be like their thing. They should capitalize on it because they.
I think that is going to be their thing. It was weird to have Santi Espinal though, because like he's cool, but he's not really a talker.
Yeah.
He didn't really have like he's not he wouldn't be my first choice of Jays players, but I think
your first choice would be Alejandro Kirk because I mean that guy's got charisma.
Don't even get me started. Oh my God! You know what? Kirk has proven to me, and I'm sorry, because people are going to get on my ass about this again. I'm body shaming. I'm not body shaming. He can't play 162 games.
Yeah.
He can't. Like, he is physically incapable. Like, ever since the All-Star break, he's been crap. I mean, he's picked it up in Yankee. He did have a few good hits in the Yankee series. Maybe that's him coming out of a slump, which would be great. But the look like he has the same look on his face no matter what he's doing. Yeah. Home run, error, like some celebrations on the field. He looks exactly the same. He's like a weird little doll. And it's just
I don't think it's body shaming. Like this is a way to put it. If you're getting paid, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to essentially be in shape.
Yeah.
Then be in shape.
I mean, somebody brought to me Pablo Sandoval. I'm like, yeah, he was fat and doing great for a while, but then what happened after those 5 years?
Yeah.
He's bounced around. He ain't hitting nothing. Like he did nothing. That's the thing, because he can't You can't do that going forward in your career. You have to make that decision to make that choice. And the other thing with his, when I talk about his expression, they showed it on the air the other day that he found out he had a picture taken of him and his wife because they're having their first baby. He had the exact same look on his face in the goddamn photo. Like, Jesus. Like,
so maybe he's a really good poker player then. That's he's definitely.
Hey man, maybe that's what he should be doing, because I'm telling you, you have to show some kind of emotion, like just something. Like he looks like he shat the bed every time I look at his face. That's what he looks like. He's just like, sorry, didn't mean to crap the bed. And the other thing about Kirk that I'll go on about is I was having an online argument with a guy about catching position. I hate the leg out, knee up, so you can frame the lower pitches.
Mm-hmm.
Like Buck Martinez talks about it all the time.
It makes sense in a position where you've got like a fast runner, because it gives you a little more spring when you go to throw. But I don't think you should do it all the time. Yet again, I'm not a major league catcher.
You're not in the right position to catch. Like there were a couple of pass balls that were called wild pitches because he was not in position to catch the ball because he couldn't move from the position. And this guy kept saying, well, it's the new way. All the catchers are doing it. Why? Because it's lazy. Because you're trying to frame pitches. Well, guess what? When they have a robo framing pitches ain't going to mean shit.
Yeah.
It ain't going to mean anything. And he's 5'6". How much lower to the ground does he need to go to frame the pitch low? Great. He's great at framing low pitches. Whoopee crap. It doesn't matter that much in a game that you're going to sacrifice that kind of defense. He's good at receiving in most respects. I just don't like that way of catching it all the time. Yeah. There is a time and a place for everything. It's just like the shift. There's a time and a place for the shift. But you don't, and the Jays got screwed on that a few times. They play the shift more than anybody, and I'm telling you, you're seeing the results because sometimes it doesn't work. It just doesn't work because it's not meant to work. There's a reason why for 100 years or 120 years we kept it the way it was. People can move around, that's fine. You can do it occasionally, but these 4-man outfields, and it just doesn't work, especially now that eventually, and you're starting to see it, more players are starting to hit the other way.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to get people to do that, that's a great way of getting them to do that.
But I've got and that's the thing, is when people say they should ban the shift, if you want to play it. I don't care. It's not the best option. Go ahead and do it. And someone can just lay a bunt down the other way and do it. But I mean, it was the same with the Tampa starter, right? Bring out a closer for the starter for one game. If you want to waste an arm for an inning right at the beginning, go ahead, do it. It's up to you. It may not be the best idea, but yeah, sure. You can manage your team how you want.
Well, when you're talking about defensive metrics and stuff like that, if you're talking about how a player plays in the field, how do you really tell how well they're doing of these defensive metrics if they're changing their position all the time?
All the time, yeah.
You know what I mean? Chapman, fine, he's always going to be on that side of the ball. There was one he missed yesterday. He had to go diving for, and they gave up a run for it because Bo was on the other side of second.
Yeah.
It's fine once in a while. They've done it before. It's not like it's never been done in baseball history, but now it's just holy crap. Why don't we just make that your position? Why don't we just have 2 second basemen? Who needs a shortstop?
Officially just call it Rover. There you go. Yeah. And be exactly. that person in softball that kind of sucked,
Well, and that kind of brings us down to Bo Bichette.
Well, here, how about we'll pull a commercial in, and then we'll go on a tear on that one. All right, I'll do I'll do Shiloh beer.
Shiloh.
Yes, folks, this is a beer commercial. No, there's not going to be classic rock and a ridiculous cottage by a lake with girls in bikinis trying to sell you schlock beer. There is a girl, however, who is the brewmaster, and she makes killer beers. A small independent brewery out of the south end of the nation's capital. Yet again, this nation. Which nation, Jeff?
Canada!
Woohoo! out of the nation's capital, and certified kosher. You'll find an incredible lineup of session ales, Vienna lagers, sours, stouts, pales, and IPAs, and English ales that are definitely not run of the mill. My personal favorite is the Belgian Beer Snob. It tastes kind of like a little Trappist ale, which is actually pretty good. So they don't need to throw around the idea that your summer will be awesome if you drink their beer. They just make great beer. But if you do have an amazing cottage by the lake with jet skis and 80s rock playing in the background, it can't hurt to drink Shillow beer too. Visit shillowbeer.com.
Kosha.
Boom.
Okay,
Boom.
so people have been talking about Bo a lot this year, and I'm looking at his stats, and I can see why. Here's the one that really stands out that I find very strange. So last year, Bo stole 25 bases and got caught once. This year, he's 7 for 14. He stole 7 bases, caught 7 times.
It's like, I mean, the Jays have just lost the ability to steal bases just in general.
Well, last year he grounded into 10 double plays. He's already done 13 this year. Yeah. His OPS plus last year was 121. It's 102 this year. His OPS was 828, 715 this year.
Yeah.
His slugging was near 500. It's 420.
Yeah.
On base percentage was 343, 295. Like, he's just not doing anything. The question is his. What I was going to ask you is because they've always said he's super aggressive, and the reason he signed with the Jays is because the Jays would allow him to still be that super aggressive guy that he's always been. They weren't going to try and change anything about him, which some teams do. But
he was his.
Is it affecting him? Like, is he too aggressive?
Like, here's the crazy thing. Like, the stats you were mentioning last year, he was actually 12th in MVP voting. Like, for the American League last year, and it's killer stats for sure. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you call this a sophomore. This could be a sophomore slump, right? Because I mean, he's literally 2019 he played less than 50 games, and then 2020, like, throw that one out because everyone was playing like a shortened season or whatever. So this last year could have been like the first full year, and this could be kind of like the sophomore slump, you know? Like,
could be.
It's a possibility. I mean, he's still a deal. Like, we're gonna sort of compare him and George Springer at some point.
Yeah.
Like,
later
on today. Not compare, but I mean, like,
a bit of a different thing.
We're talking about it. But here's just something to think of as well. Like, we'll bust out the fact that right now Bo Bichette makes $717,000 because it's the last year of his contract. Like, he's due to be a free agent next year. He's going to get a big pump. But it's crazy because he turned down an offer at the beginning of the year, expecting his numbers to go up and to have a killer year. So he probably just might have sunk his value a tiny bit.
I think he's overvaluing himself. What this is causing, again, when you go by the Jays fans that I talk about, these guys are like, we got to bring Dante back. Dante Bichette's got to come back to do the team. Dante Bichette. First of all, the Jays don't need hitting help. The Jays need help with hitting runners in scoring position. That's what they need help with. They're not having a problem hitting the ball. They're like first in batting average in baseball, and all the other stats are first, second, third, whatever they are. It's the runners in scoring position that's been the issue.
The second game against the Yankees, that's where we got all our hits, actually, which was great because we actually had someone in scoring position and we brought him in. So, but yeah, you're right.
I think it all evens out. It's just like the Yankees being in their slump that they're in right now is just evening out. Like, nobody thought the Yankees were going to win 120 games like Seattle did. No one thought that, right? And then they traded away Jordan Montgomery, which is probably the dumbest thing they could have done, because now Frankie Montas might be injured, so that's going to give them some problems. And he's not as good as Jordan Montgomery I don't know why they did that trade. They traded him away for a guy they put on the disabled list.
The thing that makes me laugh, speaking of trading away, Baltimore trades away Trey Mancini, who was essentially like their last good player. And as soon as he left, they've won 14 of their last 16 games, or 14 of their last 18 games.
The thing about the Orioles is they have Cedric Mullins, who was the first 30-30 guy in the history of the team, which blows my
That's
mind.
crazy. They're
Considering how
they're
considering
they're
what
like an
players play for
ancient team.
Baltimore.
They're like been around since the 30s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like you look at Brooks Robinson, people like that. Frank
yeah. Frank
Robinson, who played
Robinson.
for the team. Yeah,
Yeah,
somebody would nope, nobody. He was the first.
oh
Ryan Mountcastle has been an amazing first baseman. He's been hitting the
yeah,
crap out of. He hits the Jays like there's nobody's business, right? Santander has been doing well.
yeah.
Adley Rutschman's really been hitting well lately. The thing with the Orioles, they have one of the top bullpens in baseball. That's the other thing. And the thing is, they're getting decent enough starting pitching to get into the bullpen. And that's why they're doing so well. I mean, people wrote them up, but you
No,
can't be
well,
as crappy as they were for as long as they were and getting all those draft picks without it starting to come to fruition someday.
but that's the difference.
I think they're going to start going down. Don't get me wrong. I don't think this is sustainable. I think
No,
they're going to start crashing.
but
But
in 2 years they're going to be a solid team.
wait till
Like
some of their pitching comes up that's in the minors.
but it's kind of funny. Like the if you look at the and yet again it's the American League East. Like
Mhm.
there was a span for 10 years where it was literally just like Yankees Boston, Yankees Boston, Yankees Boston, and now like in the
Tampa
last 8 years,
getting in there.
like Tampa's figured it out. The Jays actually started, throwing some money around again because we know they've got it. Baltimore started doing it, and there was a span of 5 years where all 5 teams had won the division. That was up to like 2010 to 2015. So it was like,
Yeah.
so being in this division helps. Like look at the Pirates. I like Pittsburgh, but you know what? I just think they're cool. But they've sucked for like for forever.
I can't figure out the Pittsburgh thing because
Yeah.
like Charrington went there a couple years ago, and they've been shite and they've been drafting decent players, but I don't know if it's a payroll thing with them. Like I equate them to be like Cleveland. They're kind of in the same boat. They're not small market teams, but they're like not even mid market. They're kind of in between both.
Yeah.
Because Cleveland ain't that big of a town. Pittsburgh ain't that big of a town, but they've been around forever. Like they're some of the first towns that
the Pirates are actually, if you want to see how long the Pirates have been around, the Pirates are actually the oldest team to still have the same name because the Yankees had various names before they became the Yankees. The Pirates are the oldest team, like as the Pirates.
Well, wasn't Cincinnati like Cincinnati was the first team ever, and they were the Red Stockings.
They were the Red Stockings, and then Red Stockings, and then Reds, and then But I mean, like as it stands right now, like the names are going on right now, Pittsburgh Pirates. They've been.
I mean,
the
they
longest,
have some decent one. They've got some players coming. I just don't get it. I don't know what their plan is. It's just like watching. It's like the Reds. I don't know what the Reds' plan is either. After what they did over the trade deadline, I cannot figure out what the hell they're trying to do over there. I have no idea. I'm surprised that Votto hasn't asked for a trade. But I'm telling you, at the end of like he's got next year. I think is the last year of his contract, his big ass 10-year contract.
Yeah.
I think he signs with the Jays after.
I've always thought that that's going to happen. Like I have this, I mean, I have this feeling that every Toronto like area player, at least at some point, wants to don the Blue Jay blue.
Oh, do you know who's retiring at the age of 29 to go into emergency medical services?
Who? That
used to play for it was a local who played for the Jays briefly. Dalton Pompey.
Oh no way! I didn't know that.
Who he's playing for right now?
Oh, he's in the J League.
Royals.
I thought he was in the J League.
He's in the Intercounty League.
Oh wow!
Like the Toronto Maple Leafs who play in Christie Pitts. Like he's with the Guelph team. That's who he's playing for, and that's how he's finishing his career. And he's third in batting, not even first. He's third. And I mean, it's .373, which is good, but he's saying like he's happy now, like he's playing, he's having fun again.
Yeah.
But he's going to retire and go into medical services, which is great.
That's cool.
He apparently he was with the Angels in Arizona the last few years in their minor league systems. The Angels released him last year, so the Guelph came and said, "Hey, want to play for us?"
Yeah.
I don't know. Do intercounty league players get paid? I don't know. I got to find that out.
Here, hold on.
Because that intercounty league has been around forever. Like the intercounty league has been around for decades and decades and decades. So I'd be very curious because we used to during our first iteration of 40-40 men. We sat in front of a.
Yeah.
Detroit. We went to Christie Pitts a couple times.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Intercounty bet players. It's yeah, here you go. Ready? Um, there is a pay scale. Yeah, most definitely.
Oh,
Um,
all right.
yeah, but it's also you get paid based on the kilometers that your team travels. So you don't get paid for your home games. You get paid to go on the road, and it's thirty
That's, are
five dollars per
you
$35.
serious?
Yeah.
I'm just looking. I'm just typing to see if I can find how long the league's been around for. Founded in 1919.
Wow,
Yep, 103 years old. That's crazy.
that's cool.
Um, anyway, go back to we were talking about players. Well, the other player I wanted to bring up was Springer.
Yeah,
Now, okay, looking at his stats here. By the way, if you ever want to look up anything, baseballreference.com is the best. For
hmm.
all you who want
Oh
to look up
yeah,
stats for people, that's the best.
that's what I do. And actually, it's kind of funny because when you look at Springer's stats, like for the Jays, specifically for the Jays, he's played 171 games. So that's like,
Yeah,
let's just say that's a season. So in 2 years, he's played a season, a little over a full season.
yeah.
But in that
That
span,
this, yeah.
in
Well,
that span,
this is
yeah,
my thing. So you look at 2016, he played 162 games.
yeah,
17, 140, 18, 140, 19, 122. And he just keeps going lower and lower. He seems to be one of those guys who can't handle pain.
yeah.
He's got a knee problem. He's got elbow problems. I don't know. I mean, they could be severe. He might be an injury prone kind of guy. I
Mhm.
don't know. But all I know is that I don't know if he's worth 23 million a year.
Well, it's not
You
like
know?
it's that's the thing is like that's the front loaded part of it because it's 150 million over 6 years.
And that's the thing. Like he's
Yeah,
only in year two.
yeah,
So I mean, he like for we know he's going to go to right field. That's where he's going to go. Like that's good. He can't play center field much longer. He's not. He's getting too up there in age,
yeah,
which is another reason I think Teoscar Hernandez is going to be traded in the offseason.
yeah.
Just think it's
Because
going
we're
to
gonna.
happen because honestly, this team needs a culture shakeup. I think they do. Even though they're winning now and they could do well, I think they need something to shake them up a little bit because their nucleus has been around together for a while.
Yeah,
And if they don't make it far in the playoffs, you're going to see a big shakeup. And
but
Teoscar's going to be
Springer's
the one.
Springer's got like obviously they won he won a World Series. We all know how.
Now, when
But Springer
well,
but
no,
Springer definitely helps those guys. Yeah,
when he plays well. Don't
yeah,
get me wrong. Like he's his OP. Look at his OPS plus. Like his OPS plus
mhm,
is let's see with the Jays 141 in 2021 and 132 this year already.
yeah.
I mean he doesn't play that much.
But I
So
the reason why I brought up Bichette's salary earlier on was because I did a little
mm,
metric. So like Springer has played 171 games for the Jays. In that span of time, he's
yeah,
got 40 home runs, 101 RBIs, a 266 average. So like that's a good season. It's a good season, but
yeah.
it's a split over 2 seasons. So right now he's being paid at the thing $800,000 per home run. That's what he's made,
Well,
and Bichette's salary is 717,000.
I
Yeah,
mean aside from his 2019 season, he's never hit more than 30. Never
Mhm.
has. Like he hit 39 in 2019, which is great.
Yeah,
Um, I don't like. I like. I think we need him. He's a great leader.
yeah,
I think they need his energy, and when he plays, they win. There's like I can't remember what the stats were, but it shows like when he plays, they're like 20 games over 500. When he doesn't play, they're like six.
yeah,
So he has that ability. Like, he has a game changing ability, and he does when he plays. But the thing is, he's always hurt, and his elbow. I don't know if he's going to need surgery on that, and his knee. If he's going to need surgery on that, like at the end of the season, he's getting surgery on something.
yeah,
And how is that going to make him going forward? That's why I think he's going to end up in right, and that's why I think Teoscar is going to get traded.
yeah,
Because you're going to be getting into a number crunch, because Teoscar is going to be due a big ass raise. He is.
yeah,
And he's the one, like Lourdes is a little bit younger, has better skill set in terms of defense and offense, I think. He's not a home run hitter, but he's getting on base, which is what we need. The problem we've had is we've had too many home run hitting guys.
yeah.
I like having a guy like Merrifield and Lourdes and even Kirk, who's not a big home run guy, but they're on base guys.
Yeah.
We
They're
need to
they're
mix that in with guys hitting
it's
home runs.
like they're a total base player, like
Yeah.
as opposed to like just hitting for the fence. It's like you're gonna stretch it out to like get some triples, get some doubles and stuff. All right,
Yeah.
we
And
can
Oh, is
I
the
was going
time
to say
again?
we can probably hit another commercial. Do you want to do, or do you want me to do one? It's up to you.
You know what? Let's do. I'll do one.
All right, you want to do one for
Yeah,
pandering,
pandering.
pandering, right on.
So, as a lot of you see so far, we have been trying to build our brand here of the 4040 Men. And being on the 365sportscast.com network is definitely helping us with that. They were New York City based sportscasting website where you can check out programs every day, all day, in any kind of sport you can think of, any kind of fantasy you can think of, in basketball, hockey, football, baseball, whatever it is, that's your place to go. But since we were on 365 Sportscast, the one thing we are able to do is to advertise for you. As you've seen with Shiloh Beer, as you've seen with the Canadian Way. Well, we have a spot available on our podcast for you to put your name on. If you want to give me hair, give me hair. If you want me to lose this, show me how to do it. I will be your guinea pig for whatever you want to sell on our program right here. Because what better way to show how things work than to use the guinea pig? But again, if you do want to see us, 365sportscast.com is where you're going to start it. And after that, you will see us on Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, and every other place you see podcasts going. Also on YouTube. If you see us on YouTube, like and subscribe because that's what you're supposed to do. But again, please, if you're looking for a place to advertise with a growing company and people who generally care about the products that we actually showcase, come to us. You can email me at jeffmorton@gmail.com. And eventually we'll have our own email for the 4040 Man, but we don't. So, come to see us. Yeah, we gotta get it. We gotta get our own email addresses.
Yeah, that's something that should get on. All right, cool.
Okay, so one thing we were talking about before also
Hey, Oscar.
was the Apple TV.
Oh, the Apple
Oh yeah,
TV. Okay, cool.
Teo's going to be gone.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about the Apple TV broadcast because it is definitely different. Some things I like about it are they don't overload the graphics on the programming. They have this. It's weird in the bottom right hand corner of the screen.
It's
They'll always have like
very minimal.
hit probabilities or strikeout. They'll give a probability number in very basic font that doesn't show very much. They don't have a lot of crazy graphics. They have your usual.
Well, Apple's not really a tech company, right? So
yeah. They also have very good camera use. I like the use of the camera. They have a lot more on-field stuff. They have the miking players to make it a little more interactive, and I think to showcase the personality of the players, which baseball needs to do more of. They've always needed to do more of that kind of thing. But what's weird about Apple is it's weird to watch a game where there's no rooted interest in either of the teams.
Yeah.
So what it does is they try and balance it. I've noticed between one team and the other team. But how much they're speaking about. Like I had some people in the Jays things going, they talk about the Yankees too much, and some people were like, they talk about the Blue Jays too much. And I think that's a good thing because it shows they're talking about both teams.
Both teams.
And it's interesting to watch one where there's no rooted interest. It's like watching the old national broadcast, like Saturday afternoon games in the '80s, or that kind of thing, or ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. I think they're trying to go down that road, but the only problem I have is they get a little too yappy and kind of forget what's happening on the field. I can't hear you at all, dude. Yeah. So anyway,
there we go. Up, yeah.
There you go.
No, that's one thing. That's one thing that I like about the NFL. The NFL actually has the national broadcast, so like the guys that are talking aren't rooted in a team. Whereas like you watch the Jays broadcast, it's about the Jays, right? I mean, like lo and behold, whenever it's Fox and the Cowboys are playing, they try to be impartial, and they're always going to be Cowboys fans, which is stupid. But yeah, like baseball always has a home broadcaster,
Yeah.
So.
And I think this is going to be going forward. Apple TV Friday nights is going to be a thing. And for those of you who think you can't get it, you can get Apple TV without having to subscribe to it. I don't know how many Jays fans I've had to explain this to online. You can get Apple TV. Like, I got it on my computer, and you can cast from your computer, get a Google Chromecast or something like that. Everybody should have like a casting thing for their TVs these days, because that's how a lot of it's done, right? It's like $20, and I had no problem. I can't hear you again. You're good. I got no sound for you, Howard. Yep.
There. No, there we go.
There you go.
All right, cool. Wow, that's weird. Usually you're the problem.
Yeah, I'm usually the problem.
Yeah, and you know what? I moved my mic, and it literally wiggled the cord loose. That's one thing, folks. Don't wiggle cords when you're already broadcasting.
Yeah. So like Apple TV is a good idea. People just got to get used to the idea of having to have Apple TV. But like I said, you do not have to pay for a subscription. It is a free broadcast. It's just a matter of, can you deal with how different it is. Like I watched them. They brought in, because it was the Jays were on Friday night. They brought in a beat reporter to sit in with their crew. And all they talked about, especially the one of the broadcasters, female broadcaster, she was really good, but she kept talking about wanting to get a bobblehead of Susan Waltman, who is I believe that's her name, and she's the play-by-play voice for the Yankees. I think she's the first play-by-play woman in the history of baseball. I believe that's her name. If I get it wrong, I'm sorry. Put it in the comments if you can tell me, but I believe it's Susan Waltman. So within 15 minutes, this guy managed to get her this bobblehead she's been trying to get for months. And so she's like, "Oh my God, that's bobbleheads! I thought I saw my bobblehead collection." Blah, blah, and there's stuff going on the field, and they've got the camera on the booth during this entire thing. And I'm like, I get it. I get people like I know people do other things when baseball's on because it's a game where you can do other stuff. But keep the cameras on the game at least, or if something's happening, interrupt. Like if you see our guys talking about, or any other broadcaster, if they're talking, like doing a story, and then something happens, they stop, tell what's happening, continue with the story. Apple doesn't do that, and it's weird to me. I mean, some people like the fact they do that. Some people like different things with their broadcasters. That's what I've noticed. Now, I'll tell you one thing: okay, how can I put this? Buck Martinez. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but we know Buck went through his cancer treatment, right? He's only doing home games now, which is weird because he goes back to Florida when he's not doing the games at home.
Here. Yeah.
Because he was in Tampa at the game, but not broadcasting
the game. Yeah.
Right. So one woman was really, really angry. She goes, "Well, Buck's not doing the games anymore." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, he's doing the home games." "No, he's not." I'm like, "Yeah, he's actually doing the games." She goes, "Well, no, he's not doing the color. He's not doing the play-by-play. He's doing color." And I hate that. And I'm like, so your complaint about Buck is that he's not doing the play-by-play, he's doing the color commentary? That's why you're mad?
That is an odd little... By the way, just so you know, her name is Susan Waldman. So it's Suzyn Waldman. So there you go.
Thank you for that. Susan Waldman.
Susan.
But yeah, she was complaining about that. She goes, "I missed the get up there, get up ball, gone." It's like she likes his home run call. And she was butthurt that he's not doing that. And she's trying to figure out why. And I'll tell you why he's not doing play-by-play. He's recovering from cancer.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's a lot easier to talk about baseball that he's already done than to have to concentrate for 9 innings doing the play-by-play.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's probably why. Yeah. But I mean...
I can see that. Most definitely.
It could be anything, but it's a really dumb thing to get angry about. I'm sorry. But to make a whole post about it and post it on there going, "I can't believe they're doing that, blah, blah, blah," that's kind of dumb. So what's happening now is watching the Apple games to making people appreciate Buck more. Because there's a lot of Buck haters and there's a lot of Pat Tabler haters out there. There is a lot of Tabby haters out there. They think he's they think he's used. They think he just repeats what he's told.
I think
And I'm
that
sorry, but
this is viable because specifically the Jeff Kahn one.
yeah,
Yes.
I'm not freaking, but I'm just saying Pat Tabler is there because he's played the game before. If you listen to what he says, he explains things as a player. He's not there to explain things to you as a play-by-player color guy.
No.
He's there to explain things, and sure, he repeats himself. But one thing you people have to remember is you're all baseball fans who know all this stuff, but it's important that we get other fans there
Yeah.
that are casual fans. And you have to repeat things and tell things that are very simple to bring these fans into the game. That's why they do it. They don't do it to piss you off. They do it because there are people who watch the games who don't know about the games.
Yeah.
So you can't always expect to be them to broadcast like everybody's watched baseball for 20 years. It just doesn't work that way. So getting butt hurt for reasons like that is ridiculous to me. Rant over.
That wasn't even like a pissy Jays fans bit. That was actually great. That was fun.
Jays fans get less pissy when they win. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
There was another one. I gotta find.
Do you have a pissy Jays fan story?
I do. I just have to bring this guy up because this was.
All right. Let me get it prepped.
Okay, I gotta find this goof. Okay, where is this goof? Okay, where is he? Pardon me, my phone is being slow today. Hello. Why isn't that? There we go. Where is? There he is.
There we go.
Okay. So it really is. This is maybe one of the dumbest arguments I've ever heard for a post. Okay. This was the post. Okay. And again, I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to say which, because I'm in a few different groups. I'm not going to say which, but this is what it says. A perfect example of a manager not using all available info to put the best team on the field. Tapia in place of Lourdes Gurriel is in left field, and leadoff is like a manager saying, I have no clue what I'm doing. With Garrett Cole pitching, I can only assume manager Schneider is simply looking at the platoon advantage. Of course, Tapia is a bad hitter no matter what arm the pitcher pitches with. Lefty swing Tapia is batting .276 against righties. Righty swinging Gurriel is batting .303 against righties. It gets worse. Tapia has 0 DRS in left field, and Gurriel has 4. Actually, it gets even worse than that. Garrett Cole this year is killing lefties worse than righties despite the platoon advantage. Okay, maybe Gurriel is hurt or something else I'm unaware of. Keep that in mind. Unaware of. But if this is the rest of the day, if this is the rest day for Gurriel, Schneider should be crucified. The Jays are playing the division-leading Yankees in a crucial 4-game series they need to win. At the very least, Tapia shouldn't be hitting leadoff. The Blue Jays likely have a lot more access to data than I do, and Schneider can't figure this out. Every stat I got is from Baseball Reference. Hope Tapia hits a game-winning homer and makes me look like an ass. You know what? Tapia didn't have to make you look like an ass. They won the goddamn game. Who cares? He made this complaint after the game was over. Like, making a complaint like that about resting players when there was a day to a night game, first of all, a night to a day game, I'm sure was planned rest. Who gives a flying kazoo what you think it should be?
Ooh, I was prepared to edit that one.
I've been practicing kazoo all week. But this guy, he kept arguing with me about this. He's like, you're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm like, no, I understand what you're saying. You're saying that no matter if they won, they didn't win the way you wanted them to win. So therefore, they're a bunch of morons. I'm sorry, CJ.
My favorite part about that is like, I'm getting my stats from Baseball Reference, and the Jays have access to all these stats. So maybe that's what they used to make that decision. Like he shot himself in his his own foot.
Maybe he's got a sore shoulder. Yeah. Maybe, who the hell knows what's wrong with it? You don't know. So just saying it's a stupid idea to put Tapia in left field for a game. Maybe Lourdes needed a day off. He just finished playing a night game. That's why you had Tapia in there and Jackie Bradley Jr. in there and these other. That's why they played them, because there were guys who played the night before.
Yeah.
Are you that stupid? Or are you that, it's one of those posts that people post just so they can get a post.
Yeah.
But if you're going to make a post like that in a J forum
Be prepared
and somebody comes back at you with logic, don't be butthurt about it. If you don't want to get butthurt about it, don't post.
Yeah.
Don't put it online for other people to see when it's something stupid. When even yourself says, the Blue Jays have a lot more access to that than I do.
Yeah.
Or maybe Gurriel has heard of something else that I'm unaware of. You just answered your own question, dumbass.
Yeah.
It literally was the stupidest thing I've read this year. Like, if they lost and Tapia had dropped a ball and didn't do jack, okay.
Yeah.
Why wasn't Gurriel in? I can understand that argument. But when they won, you're just a butt-hurt egomaniac who is, and I'll call it again, a keyboard warrior. You're a keyboard warrior. You're saying stuff you would never say into a person's face. You hide behind your screens and blah, 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 blah.
I figured that's
go back to mom's basement.
That's a good point to end the broadcast there, because we're now over.
Are we out of time?
Yeah.
I really should have started my clock this time.
Oh, that's all right. Okay, folks, we've got one more against the Yankees, 3 against Boston in Boston.
Noah.
3 Monday off, 3 against Boston in Boston, and then the Angels come to town. And then afterwards, actually, the week after, the Cubs come in as well, which is actually always kind of cool.
That's
always cool to see the Cubs.
I'm going to try and get tickets for that Cub game.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
One thing I'm doing, and if you get a chance to see it, Friday, the 26th of this month, I'm going to see a band I've been wanting to see for 20 years. Metric.
I'm going to Duran Duran tomorrow. It's going to be awesome.
Oh!
Yeah.
My favorite band of the 80s.
All right, folks. Later.
Yeah.